Most people think self-awareness is something they already have. This video is for those people, and it is not going to be comfortable. Moment 1. You walked into that coffee shop knowing the line was long. You stood in it for 5 minutes. And the second the barista looks at you, your mind goes completely blank. The menu hasn't changed since 2019. You have ordered the same drink for 3 years. None of that matters. You need the pressure of 20 strangers staring at your skull to begin the decision-making process. Moment 2. You set the alarm. You set it with intention, with hope, with a vision of the productive morning you were going to have. Then you hit snooze. Then again. By the third time, you've the energy of someone who has made peace with failure. At 7:15, you're bolt upright, brushing your teeth at full speed, mentally calculating whether you can skip breakfast, skip the shower, or skip the entire day. The alarm did exactly what you asked it to. You are the problem. Moment 3. Someone sends you a message. You read it. You fully understand it. You have a complete response sitting in your head, ready to go. And then you put the phone down and don't reply for 4 to 11 business days. Not because you're busy, not because it requires thought. You just didn't. And when they follow up, you reply instantly. Apparently, the only pressure capable of generating a response from you is being asked about your silence. Moment 4. You open the fridge. You stare into it for 45 seconds. You close it. 2 minutes later, you open it again, as though the fridge has had time to restock, reconsider, or summon something from another dimension. The food that was there 2 minutes ago is still there. The fridge is not holding out on you. Whatever you were hoping to find simply does not exist in your home. And yet the investigation continues. Moment 5. You're watching something. Someone starts talking to you. You remove one earbud. Just one. You leave the other in as a monument to the conversation you'd rather be having. You nod along while half your brain is still completely engaged with the show. This is not listening. This is the minimum viable performance of being present, while making it clear you are a hostage in this interaction. Moment 6. You Google something. The first result is a perfect answer. It's right there in the title of the first link. Do you click it? No. You scroll down, past 5 perfectly good answers, looking for a better one, a more validating one, the one that agrees with what you already believe. There are people who have spent 45 minutes searching for information that was available in the first 4 seconds of their search purely because they didn't like the look of the first result. Moment 7. Someone is holding a door open for you. You are not close. You are 15-20 feet away. And so you do the thing, the jog. Not a real run that would imply urgency. Just a pained half-trot that communicates gratitude while announcing to everyone watching that you are deeply uncomfortable inconveniencing a stranger. The person holding the door smiles tightly. You both know this is absurd. Neither of you will acknowledge it. Moment 8. You're at self-checkout. The machine announces loudly in public. Unexpected item in the bagging area. You didn't put anything unexpected anywhere. The machine is simply wrong. You remove it, replace it. Unexpected item in the bagging area. You look around for a human. There is one employee monitoring 16 machines simultaneously, currently occupied by someone who cannot figure out how to scan a banana. You wait. The machine beeps again. You consider a career change. Moment 9. You're watching a movie with someone who hasn't seen it. They ask a question about something that happens 30 seconds from now. Instead of waiting 30 seconds, you tell them. Because you know. Because knowing is a gift you cannot contain. You have robbed them of a reveal they were seconds away from experiencing themselves. You did it with confidence. You feel no remorse. Be honest. You've done this. Moment 10. You get in the shower with no intention of thinking about anything serious. Around the 90-second mark, your brain locates the most uncomfortable memory in your archive, an argument from 2014, and plays it back in vivid, fully scripted detail, complete with the perfect comeback you didn't deliver. You stand there. The water runs cold. You get out. Nothing has been resolved. This happens every single shower. Moment 11. The waiter asks if everything is okay. It is not okay. The steak is wrong. But you say yes, great, thank you. Because explaining the problem to another human in real time feels more painful than just eating the wrong thing in silence. Then you go home and write a 3-paragraph review describing exactly what was wrong in forensic detail. The waiter will never read it. The people who needed to know, who were right there, holding a notepad, were never told. Moment 12. You are in a meeting. Someone is talking. The meeting could have been an email. Everyone knows this. The person talking knows this. And yet here you all are, assembled in real space, nodding at information that will be sent in a follow-up summary anyway. You check your phone under the table. 3 others are doing the same. Nobody makes eye contact. The meeting continues. Civilization grinds forward. Moment 13, you bought something online. You have a confirmation email, a shipping email, an out for delivery notification, real-time GPS tracking, and you still stand near the window and check the front porch 17 times over 2 hours. Multiple electronic confirmations are not sufficient proof that the package exists and is moving toward you. You need to see it with your own eyes. Moment 14, you're telling a story. Halfway through, you realize you've forgotten the specific detail the entire story depends on. Instead of continuing without it, you halt the whole narrative. Wait, what was it called? Don't tell me. And force everyone to wait in silence while you mine your memory for a piece of information that, honestly, would not have changed the meaning of the story at all. Moment 15. You're halfway through a sentence and you forget a regular, everyday word. Not a technical term. A word you've used thousands of times. You gesture instead. You describe the shape of it. It's like, the thing, someone supplies the word. You point at them like they've solved a crime. This happens again in the same conversation. Moment 16, you have good leftovers in the fridge. You put them there specifically to eat them. Every day for 5 days, you open the fridge, look at them, think I should eat those, close the fridge, and make something else instead. Repeat until the leftovers have crossed into biological warfare territory. You feel genuine guilt. You vow to do better. The cycle continues unchanged. Moment 17. Someone sits next to you on public transport. You don't know them. You'll never see them again. And yet you spend the entire journey performing a precise choreography of not touching them, shifting your weight, angling your shoulder, adjusting your arm. They are doing the exact same thing. Two strangers engaged in an elaborate, silent, cooperative performance of mutual avoidance in a space physically designed for you to sit next to each other. Moment 18. You want to sleep. Your body is in the correct position for sleep. And then your brain compiles a highlight reel of every embarrassing thing you've ever done, starting from age 9, working forward in no particular order, with special emphasis on moments you'd successfully suppressed for years. There is no off switch, no appeal process. You just lie there, marinating in retroactive humiliation, while your body waits patiently for your brain to finish its performance. Moment 19, you're cleaning your home. You pick up something, a thing with no clear place, that you haven't used in years, that you cannot explain owning, and instead of throwing it away, you move it to a different surface. You have not solved the problem, you have relocated it. That object will migrate across your home for months in a slow, purposeless orbit between surfaces until it either disappears or becomes invisible furniture in your mind. Moment 20, someone in the comments says something spectacularly wrong. You compose a thorough, well-sourced, morally correct takedown in your head. You consider typing it. You think about what it would accomplish. You scroll past. But for the next 45 minutes, you are still mentally arguing with a stranger who will never know you exist and whose opinion would not have changed regardless of moment 21. You send a voice note. They reply in text. You send another voice note. They type again. You are conducting an audio monologue. They are participating in a text conversation. Both of you have silently agreed to continue in your respective formats without ever acknowledging the incompatibility. Somehow this works. Communication has been achieved. Nobody is happy about how. Moment 22, you're at a party you didn't want to attend. You told yourself you'd stay 1 hour. 3 hours later, every time someone mentions leaving, you say, yeah, we should go soon. Nobody goes. At some point, the party ends and you go home and wonder why you stayed so long, knowing full well that if you were sent back to hour 1, you would make every identical decision. Moment 23. You typed out a message. You deleted it. Retyped a slightly different version. Deleted that one. Wrote a third draft. Sent absolutely nothing. Not because you had nothing to say. You had too much to say. You spent so long optimizing the saying of it that the moment passed, the window closed, and now it's too late to send anything without it being strange. You are carrying the ghost of an unsent message. You have several of these. Moment 24. You walk into a room with a purpose. You know exactly why you came. You cross the threshold and it's gone. Not the object, the memory of wanting it. You stand there. You retrace your steps mentally. Sometimes walking back to where you started brings it back. Sometimes you return empty-handed, spend 20 minutes unable to remember, and then at 2 a.m. it comes back with complete clarity, and you cannot do anything about it. Moment 25. You have a gym membership you've had for 14 months. You've been 4 times. You keep paying because canceling feels like officially admitting you're not going, while keeping it preserves the comfortable fiction that you might at any moment decide to go. The gym knows this. Their entire business model is built on this exact dynamic. They're not selling fitness. They're selling the feeling of being the kind of person who could go to the gym if they wanted to. Moment 26. The show is not good. You're 5 episodes in and you know it. But stopping now would mean those 5 hours meant nothing, so you watch another. And another. You finish it, you tell people you watched it, they ask if it was good. You say, I mean, it was okay. You sacrifice 12 hours of your finite life to a show you didn't enjoy because you couldn't emotionally process a sunk cost. The show did not deserve you. You gave it everything anyway. Moment 27. Someone tells you don't think about elephants. You think about elephants immediately. Involuntarily. This isn't a flaw, it's how the brain works. It cannot process a don't without first fully rendering the thing it's supposed to avoid. We know this. Everyone knows this. And yet we keep issuing instructions in this format as though the brain has ever once in human history complied with a negation, without first completing the action it was told not to take. Moment 28. You have a task. It will take 20 minutes. It is not urgent, so you don't do it. You think about it, you plan to do it, you feel slightly bad about not having done it. The guilt accumulates. Days pass. The task is now emotionally enormous, a monument to your personal failure, and because it has become a monument, it's even harder to start. The task is still 20 minutes. It has always been 20 minutes, right up until the day before it becomes a catastrophic problem. Moment 29. Someone is talking to you. They're explaining their situation, their problem. And while their mouth is still moving, you are already composing your response. You are not listening. You are waiting. You occupy the conversational space with the performance of listening while internally rehearsing your contribution, your analogous experience, your version of the story. They finish. You respond, not to what they said, but to what you anticipated they'd say. You both nod. You feel you've connected. You haven't. You've had two simultaneous monologues that briefly occupied the same room and called it a conversation. This is the default mode of human interaction. We are all doing it. We are all having it done to us. And most of us will leave this video and immediately do it to the next person we speak to. And that's where we are. Not malicious, not stupid, just magnificently, consistently convinced that we are the exception to every pattern we can clearly see in everyone else. So here's the question worth sitting with. Which one of these is the one you'd fight hardest to explain away? Drop it in the comments, and if you made it to 29, subscribe and come back for more quiet observations about the beautifully absurd way we move through the world.